So this year I intended on going on 2 writing retreats, but 2020 had another idea entirely. This weekend I'm taking part in a collaboration with Marissa Mohi about how we create our own writing retreats at home, in the hopes of getting our work done on our current works in progress. So my hope this year was to go back to the Highlights Foundation, where I went in 2019 on a writer's retreat, and it was a ton of fun and so productive. I will link that video in the cards above and also in the description box so you can check that out later. But now that I'm home with nowhere to go, I'm going to apply as much of that process as I can at home. So in terms of doing your own writing retreat at home, I have some tips on how you can do it yourself. So number 1, preparation. If you were to go on a regular writing retreat, you would probably set aside a day or several days. I know last year when I went to the Highlights Foundation, I set aside a whole weekend to get my work done. So at home, you should probably do the same. And while it's not always possible to get days or even hours at home, it's nice if you can try to set aside this time, let your family know that you want to write during this time, turn off your phone, possibly leave it in the other room so you're able to get uninterrupted work time. So I have a family, I work during the week as well, so weekends are the best time for me, so I suggest just finding the best time for you based on your own schedule. And number 2, set up your space. Now, my tip would be to try to get away from your normal location where you write. It sort of puts you in a mindset that you are in a different place entirely, but if that's not possible, you don't have to. If this were during normal times, I would suggest maybe going to a coffee house or your library, but that's not possible during this time. So finding a space within your home or places that you're able to be safely is part of this. So I like to get a little creative with my space. Now my intent was to go outside this weekend to write, but as there was a big storm last night and my patio is quite a mess and it's so sticky outside, I decided to change up my location to right here in my reading space. And instead of working on my PC, I have my laptop here ready to write. Now, while I try to create a different space for myself, I do like to use my own writing hacks to get as much done as I can. I have a whole playlist of my writing hacks, which I will also link in the description box below so you can check out later to see if any of them might work for you. So I try to be in a different space, but also have that familiarity with my process to get as many words out as I can. I always make sure to have my writing playlist. I have a playlist for every book that I write on Spotify, and my current work in progress is not any different. I do write in Comic Sans font. For some reason, this font works for me in making the words flow a little faster. Don't ask me the science behind it, but it works, so I do it. I like to write in sprints, which is a certain amount of time writing and then a little time off in between to have a breather, get some water, do whatever I need to do. So I plan on writing today with my friend Julie on StreamYard. We do about a quick warm-up sprint and then about 45 minutes. We find that is a good pace for us to get all the words. And also, in addition to sprints and writing on StreamYard with a friend, I find a lot of accountability when I have someone sitting there waiting for me at the end of a sprint to check in with. I don't put that much pressure on my word count that I used to because I have found that my process with this book is a bit different and that there's a lot that goes into it with my thought process. Every book is different, but I find that getting all of the words out isn't as important as really thinking about each word that I put down. So I like having a friend who I can chat with in between about any issues we may have with our project and getting back to work as soon as possible after that. So in addition to these things, I know a lot of writers write with candles lit, or they have coffee or tea or snacks nearby. So I suggest if you do have something that you always have with you during your writing process, have that with you during your at-home retreat. And even if you were to go away, hopefully sometime in the near future, bringing those things along with you does help. I always make sure I have my music with me when I'm able to go on a retreat, just so that I'm able to dive right into the process. And number 3, now that you're set up, what are you going to do? So goals are not for everyone, but I always find it helpful to know what you would like to accomplish before you do it, because if you are strapped for time, then it's important to use that time to the best of your ability. It doesn't have to be something rigid like planning out every second of the time that you have during your at-home writing retreat, but knowing what you want to accomplish ahead of time, whether it's a day before or even a few minutes before, will give you the opportunity to get the most out of your time. For me, I have written all of the words that I need to stay on goal for this week, so my retreat is basically getting a bonus word count for myself. I have a goal of reaching over one of my daily goals, which is about 2,200 words. That is my reaching goal for today. If I can get anything done before that or after that, that's fantastic, but that will maybe give me an opportunity to take a day off during the week, or if I fall behind for some reason on a day, I know that I have this extra bonus day to account for my Camp NaNoWriMo goal of 50,000 words this month. So overall, to turn my mind into this retreat mode, I like to make these little changes like setting up a new space and being distraction free, but they are absolutely not necessary. If you can't change your space, I suggest locking your door if possible for even 20 minutes to an hour if you can, just so that you're able to feel as if you may be somewhere else writing. Now let's get to the writing. So that was fun. So I was on for a couple sprints with my friend Julie. I had a little bit of break in between for lunch, but overall I reached my goal. I had intended to do over 2,200 words and I think I got about 2,400. So I'm so happy that I really did this, and it was all thanks to Marissa Mohi for suggesting it. She has a couple videos about writing retreats at home, but also she did this collaboration with me. So I'm going to link her video down below and we can see how she did this weekend, but it was a lot of fun, and I think I want to start incorporating something like this within my maybe once a month or within the week, just doing a little bit extra for myself, making sure to set my space up a little differently. For some reason, I really like working in this room. I don't think I could do it all day or for many hours at a time because I was getting a little cramped, my neck is a little sore, but I found working in just a new space offered me a little bit of a different feel for my story. I really enjoy looking outside. I'm on the second floor of my house, so I'm able to see trees and people walking by. It was just a little bit of a different environment for me to explore more of the story. I don't know, it was a little different. It's sort of like going on a retreat where the space is totally different. So I really enjoyed this little experiment, and I hope you did too. So do let me know in the comments below what your at-home writing retreat would look like. I would love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like. I post videos on Mondays about my writing process and all the bookish things, so be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know the next time I upload, and I'll see you soon.